What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NFL Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. Apologies for starting late today. I got a lot of stuff going on. We had the holiday weekend and I'm still getting my bathroom redone, but I'm here. I'm studied. I'm ready to talk some NFL, of course, with the man that is cashing those DFS lineups on Sundays. Titletown, how was your weekend?
It was another profitable one, which I
Yep.
definitely won't complain about with how this week went. NFL, I mean, we talk about it every time we come on here. It's a crazy year. It's a crazy sport. You don't know what's going to happen week in to week out, but I was fortunate to survive in the green. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it, break it all down, and then got tonight's game, which is, it's all right. But hey, it's football. I'll never complain about football on TV.
Yeah, and this I'll tell you what, Todd, I really look forward to this show every week because you know what we do in this industry, right? We're just constantly looking forward, constantly looking forward. So I was excited when they gave us this one. This is our one chance we get in all the programming we do to go ahead and look back. So let's jump into that. Now, of course, Thursday, I know that people missed some games. I personally did not get to see the Raiders game as I've been with family I hadn't seen for over a year. So I was fine turning the TV off and putting my phone away. But just real quick, I don't want to go through every game because who cares about the Bears and the Lions? But any takeaways on those teams? I know the Raiders got an exciting victory, and I got to see it later when I got home. But of course, it's not the same when you already know what's going to happen. Bills smashed the Saints, but we kind of saw that coming. Did you have any takeaways from Thanksgiving before we move on to Sunday?
Well, I was actually went to the Cowboys game with Hoop.
Oh,
So we
cool.
were yeah, we were hammered pretty early and I didn't really watch. I caught a little of the Saints Bills game later, but
Uh-huh.
they were smashing them. Didn't watch a second of the early game. And then yeah, from the pieces I remember the Cowboys game, Raiders game, it was definitely a good one, but yeah,
Yeah.
Thursday I'm definitely not the right person to ask about Thursday football.
All right. Well, I'm sure after the way the weekend went, right? I'm sure plenty of people are feeling the same way. Let's just talk about yesterday, and let's start with I don't know if this is a surprising result. The Falcons get it done in Jacksonville against the Jaguars. The Jaguars fall to 2-9. What a rough opening season for Urban Meyer. Falcons at 5-6. I mean, they're one of those teams that they're like technically still alive, but I don't think anybody believes in them. Did you have any takeaways from this game? It's two bad teams and the slightly less bad team won.
My only takeaway was why is Kyle Pitts not getting the football? It's very
Mhm.
tilting for me, especially as the DFS owner. I had him in two of the three cash lineups on two of the three sites.
Yeah.
Cordell Patterson, complete stud. That's another takeaway I had. Other than that, though, too bad. Yeah, Falcons aren't making it. Jaguars, they got to get rid of Urban Meyer and rebuild. I mean, it's not a game I really watched too much, but Cordell Patterson, stud. Get Kyle Pitts the ball. Matt Ryan's got to go.
Yeah, and Richie Smalls, really, I mean that kind of stole the news for the weekend with Lincoln Riley agreeing to go to USC. I'll tell you what, it caught me by surprise. But Richie Smalls, throws in the very poignant comment that now Oklahoma has a head coaching spot waiting for Urban. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. My only takeaway was really, I think the Jaguars have to go all offense in the draft next year. They need a better line, and they really got to get them, one of these weapons. And but these wide receivers are just getting better year by the year, right? I mean, we talked about how good these young guys are. Let's get in some of these new young guys that just get separation and almost play, and then see what he can do, because that's kind of what he was used to, I'm sure, in high school, and then of course at Clemson. This one was a surprising result for me. The Carolina Panthers only put up 10 points against the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins win 33-10. The new the Cam Newton bounces over there. Remember, we were so excited about him when we're saying, oh, he's really gonna, he's gonna make the whole team better, just by bringing some confidence to that team. Looks like that confidence is gone. And I'll tell you what, Tua had some confidence in that post game interview, acting like they had won a Super Bowl. He was just so proud of the team. I guess it was their best win of the season. So a couple questions for you here. First one, just what do we make of the Panthers? I mean, obviously this Newton experiment has to be done at the end of the season, right?
Yeah, it has to be done at the end of the season. I liked what Matt Rule said because they got to bye next week. That he said Cam, like, he doesn't expect any quarterback changes, which I'm happy with. Like, I think that's the right move. PJ Walker, I mean, he came in, he didn't do much better, but it's got to be Cam Newton, I think. McCaffrey, sprained ankle again. It's so sad. I mean, he's what drives this whole team. When he's not out there, they have absolutely nothing. So Yeah, this really, really surprised me. Cam Newton was chalk on DraftKings. He got that early touchdown. Everyone thought he was going to start rolling. Dolphins beat him every side of the ball. I mean, Jalen Waddle, Tua looked good, 27 for 31.
Yeah.
They didn't run the ball too well, but they ran it enough that they kept the defense honest and opened things up for Tua. So I don't know. This Panthers, we talk about it every week. Sometimes we think, yeah, they could make the playoffs. They're going to be good. They got a solid defense. And they go out and do this, and they lose 33-10. So story of the NFL, I don't know what to do with the Panthers, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, on the Miami side, we had kind of written this team off as being absolutely terrible. They're now 5-7. Give them a chance to really finish with a respectable record here. What do you make of it when a team does something like that, right? It's like they almost put themselves out of contention early, and then they finish strong. What do we make of the Miami Dolphins?
I'm still not going to call them contenders. I still don't think they get to the play. I mean, contenders meaning playoffs, obviously. Right. I still don't think they're going to get there. They beat a Panthers team that, yeah, I guess Panthers aren't as good as we once thought. McCaffrey missed over half the game. At the end of the day, I'm not the biggest Tua believer anymore. Their running game, like Gaskin, Lindsey, you need something better than that. Jalen Waddle's the one. Defense played well, but when you go on the road and play better teams, I just don't think they'll be able to get it done. So good win. I don't think they're a playoff team, though.
All right, and that was our quick wrap-up of the Panthers and Dolphins. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I see some more people jumping on. Just a reminder, this is brought to you by Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. Head on over to runpuresports.com. Use that promo code GETBETS. You'll become a member of both sides of the website, and that is what I suggest you do. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will move on. The New York Jets got another win. They moved to 3-8. The Texans dropped to 2-9. This is one that Tyler and I missed. When we did our preview show with the sides and totals, we were both pretty high, and our idea was just we were going to do the simple handicap that Tyrod Taylor was much better than Zach Wilson. You could probably still argue that Zach Wilson only 145 yards in the win, but the Jets were able to get it done. They put up a score in each quarter, while the Texans had 14 in the second, and that was about it. Pretty quiet offensive showing, and I would say Robert Saleh's best performance, I'd say, as a defensive coordinator or head coach that runs the defense this year. Many takeaways from that game, or are we just going to move on?
Yeah, I don't really know what to take away from it. I mean, Tyrod Taylor, he was also kind of popular on DraftKings too, cheap price. I was on the same side as you. I thought Tyrod was going to be better than Zach Wilson, at least going into this week. I mean, who knows about the career? You hope Zach Wilson's going to be a better quarterback in the career with what he's drafted, but I don't know what to say about this game. I mean, it was kind of gross. 158 yards for Tyrod and through the air, 145 for Zach Wilson. The leading receiver, 2 for 47. Braxton Berrios on the Jets, 3 for 45 for Cooks. It's not a football game that I was very interested in, but
yeah, I'll tell you what, when that game hits the air, right, it's what I do and what you do that gave that any interest outside of the local markets, right? Because you had to have money or players involved to really care about that game with everything else that was going on Sunday. The Eagles, boy, what a disappointing loss, right? A team that we were starting to give some credit to, say they were turning around. I even spoke nice about Sirianni, which was hard for me to do personally. I wanted to fade the Giants here. I like the Eagles when Tyler and I did the show last week. Boy, was I wrong again. And it was so my idea here was to fade the Giants. I still don't necessarily think that was a bad idea. It was just the Eagles played so bad, right? Hurts only 129 yards, 77 yards on the ground. But come on, guy. I mean, we got to do a little more than that. Daniel Jones throws for 202 yards. Barkley only had 40 yards. He's kind of slipping into irrelevance as his career continues. The Giants get the win. Any takeaways from this game?
Takeaways, Jalen Hurts has to protect the football, 3 interceptions. I mean, Giants defense played really well, but their Eagles defense played well. I mean, 13 points given to the Giants when Hurts put them in bad spots. And then Jalen Reagor, I mean, he had 2 big drops on the last drive to do it. Hurts didn't look great, but he also didn't get a lot of help. He needs weapons. He can't. Jalen Reagor, Quez Watkins, Devontae Smith, I like, but he's 2 for 22. I think he needs a little better weapons. He's got to make better decisions. Defense played well on both sides. I don't think fading the Giants was a bad move at all. I mean, They didn't really impress me. It just Jalen Hurts was worse. It was a very low scoring defensive battle, bad offense football game. So good win for the Giants, 13-7. This NFC East, I don't know. It was a gross one for sure, but
Yeah,
three
I agree with you
interceptions.
though. No weapons, and so Philadelphia's got interesting. They got 3 first-round picks this year. I wouldn't say, oh, the quarterback's a problem deal for a quarterback. You got to strengthen the rest of this team.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I wouldn't trade for Deshaun Watson and bring him in there to carry around the squad. I would try and rebuild it right. You get him a weapon, rebuild that line, add a little bit to the defense. You could do that all with just your first round, and you still have your second and third round to plug up the holes. I say you give Hurts some more weapons. He's obviously going to be inconsistent. I think at his best, he's like a 10 to 15 quarterback. But we've seen in the NFL, they can be very successful. You get there, then maybe you make the move at quarterback. But I think it's a little too early to put it all on the kid's shoulders for that loss. Daniel Jones, hanging on to that starting job by dear life. But getting these type of division wins will obviously help his case. We will see where it ends up. Talk about it.
Boston Scott's fumble too. I mean, that was another thing. 3 interceptions, but Boston Scott big fumble. Like, got to take care of the football in games like that. I mean, you cut those 4 turnovers, even 2 maybe, you probably win that football game. So a lot went wrong.
Yeah, so I actually didn't really downgrade the Eagles too much, but it kind of just shows you why you can't trust these NFC East teams. And a lot of times in the division games, you just want to plug your nose, take the dog, and take the points. I did that in the next game, and it did not work out for me. Title as the Steelers lost 41-10, and one of those touchdowns was almost like a garbage touchdown against Prevent. I would say they only put up 3 points against the starting defense, right, in the normal schemes. Unbelievable. Now I know you've been high on the Bengals all year, right? But even you didn't think that. Not even surprised that they won, but the fact that they won in that fashion. I mean, what do you have to say about these Bengals, Title?
Well, I've been really high on the Bengals and I've been really down on the Steelers. So at least I kind of got this right. But last time I came on here hyping up these Bengals, I think it was against the Steelers after they beat them earlier, and I was like, and then they came out the next game and laid a dud.
When they lost to the Jets straight up as 11-point favorites. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was, So like, I don't know. I'm not the right guy to ask about the Bengals. I will say, we talked about it earlier in the year when Joe Mixon had like 12 carries, 13 carries, 14 carries. Now look what he's doing. 28 carries for 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe Mixon's a stud. Jamar Chase is a stud. Higgins is a stud. It's really up to Burrow. It's up to that offensive line. Obviously, the defense is the big thing, but I'm not going to do too much with them because I was already higher on them than the public. And I think the Steelers are a very bad football team, mainly with Big Ben. Like my stance on it, your stance on it. I think he's dusty. You need someone else back there. Set your defense up in bad spots. Pick 6. Should have been 2 pick 6s too. So it's a good win for the Bengals. I like that they're finally getting Joe Mixon involved, but it's Big Ben at the end of the day. So I can't do too much with that win.
Yeah, obviously a little disappointed to get the pick wrong on my own end, but hey, great for these Bengals, and as a team that's consistently been a doormat for almost my whole life. Nice to see them finally turn things around. So here's my takeaway from this game, Title. On the game before, I said, hey, don't give up on these quarterbacks too early. And I was talking about Jalen Hurts. Zach Taylor, I think, it kind of gives you that same argument for these coaches, right? So I'd say even, Sirianni and Judge, 2 coaches that we just talked about earlier, let them get some time, get some continuity in there, right? Because I don't know, he's doing a pretty good job now that they have talent, right? So, I mean, what are your thoughts on Zach Taylor? I mean, I just still don't think he's like a great coach, but it seems like he's the right guy for the job right now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about there's a lot. We give coaches a lot of shit in the NFL, and there's plenty of them we come on and bash. Like, I don't bash him too much. I don't think he's a great coach, but I think the team likes him. They play hard for him. Which is basically all that really matters. He makes decent decisions. Like, we're not on Twitter saying like a Mike McCarthy or
I can't wait to talk about him.
Yeah, he just tested positive for COVID too. Maybe they'll finally have a big win if he's not on the sideline. But yeah, I think he's fine. I mean, the coaches, and I also don't dig into it too much. Like, if you're a mediocre or a good coach, we don't notice you. And I think that's really how it should be. If you're awful, then you notice you. So I'm good with Zach Taylor. I like what they got going on.
Yeah, I think, it just shows, hey, let these guys have some continuity. That way Burrow don't have to learn a new system. And I think a lot of the success because they didn't make the knee-jerk reaction right away. So credit to the Bengals organization for having some patience. Maybe they're just being cheap and they didn't want to pay him. But whatever happened, it worked out because this team is now 7-4. And they're looking great. They obviously the Patriots are the real team that nobody wants to play. Same time, I think you got to be afraid if you draw the Bengals in a first-round playoff matchup. The Buccaneers got a really good win over the Colts, and was probably the most exciting game that I thought was yesterday. Maybe you had one that you liked a little more, but I really enjoyed this one. Tom Brady, 226, only threw for 1 touchdown because Leonard Fournette broke the slate, 17 attempts, 100 yards, 3 touchdowns, and, of course, he caught a touchdown as well. So Fournette leads the way. The Colts fall short again. Buccaneers now 8-3, Colts 6-6. Title, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if you told me to 38 points the Buccaneers put up and Tom Brady got me 12 fantasy points on FanDuel, you really wouldn't expect that. Leonard Fournette, what a resurgence. Resurgence, that's the word of the day from last week.
Yeah, word of the show. We've used it all year.
Resurgence for Leonard Fournette, but hey, what about big boy 87, Rob Gronkowski too? Absolutely down. 7 for 123. The next highest receiver, Leonard Fournette, 7 for 31. Leonard Fournette, Rob Gronkowski pretty much won that game. Carson Wentz played really well for a good amount of it, and then he made a couple mistakes like Carson Wentz always does. I still would love Jonathan Taylor to get the ball more than 16 times. He was 16 for 83, got a touchdown. He came on harder late in the game. He was pretty much bottled up earlier in the game, but still, he's got to have minimum 22.
Did he get banged up during the game?
I don't believe so. I watched. Oh, okay. I had it on. I mean, I was watching multiple.
I thought he was out like a series or two, and I was worried. Maybe I just assumed that because I saw the backup in.
Oh, I know there's one series like Hines. I don't know if it was like for sure passing downs. I wasn't sure. But maybe he was. But yeah, I mean, he should get more than 16 carries. Jack Doyle, 6 for 81 was their leading. Like, I don't know. Buccaneers, good teams find ways to win football games, and I thought that was a big win for the Buccaneers on the road against a good football team too. So I think it was a good win for the Buccaneers. For Colts side, you don't want Carson Wentz dropping back 44 times. We always talk about it, especially when you had the lead at one point during the game. They're up 24-14 at halftime. So that's when you just start establishing the run, pounding the rock, taking time out of or air out of the ball. So more rushes for Jonathan Taylor. Less dropbacks for Carson Wentz, but that's a good win for the Buccaneers when Tom Brady didn't even play his best game.
The Titans fall to the Patriots. 36-13, the Patriots win. Look at this stat line title. Mac Jones, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Ryan Is it time to hand it to him?
93 yards because he gets knocked out of the game. I mean, wow. Pretty tough week there for the Titans. What were your thoughts?
Is it time to finally hand it? Is it time to hand it to Mac Jones right now? Offensive Rookie of the Year spread. I mean,
yeah, I think he's got it.
Who else is doing? I mean,
it's either him or Chase, right?
Yeah, but now like lately, Chase has fallen off. I'm not like fallen off, but he just hasn't got the same production. And Mac Jones keeps winning football games. You're the quarterback. I mean, they're 8-4. No one wants to play the Patriots. Right? You guys have been higher on it. Tyler, I know for sure. I think you have as well. Like, you don't want to have to go through Foxborough. Bill Belichick, play good defense. You run the football. Mac Jones hasn't made mistakes. I don't know. It's really impressive too. Like, Jacoby Myers is the number one he's doing that with. Kendrick Bourne is absolutely balling. There's Jonnu Smith, Aguilar. Like, he doesn't have these stud receivers. He's just Bill Belichick's done a great job. I don't know if we give him is he one of the coaches that you give too much credit for? I don't think so. I think what he's done with this football team is great. They have a good game plan every single week. Establish a run, play good defense, don't make mistakes, and you can win football games. So, man, I mean, granted, the Titans, we've talked about it. Like, I think since they lost Derrick Henry, I thought they had no chance, and the record doesn't mean anything.
Well, I mean, they lost everyone, right? Because they had no A.J. Brown, no Julio, and then Tannehill went out.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it
caught up to him.
Even if A.J. Brown was there and Julio, I still Derrick Henry is what makes the whole offense and the play action work. But I don't bump them up too much. But, I mean, they won handily like they should have. So, it was a good win.
Yep. All right. Let's move on to the afternoon. I didn't think the afternoon was as good as it seemed on paper, right? I was really excited for it when they were kicking off. Not a lot of these games were even as close as the final score indicated. The first one, our Chargers, man, they fell apart again. They only put up 13 points against the Broncos. They give up 28. Herbert had 303 and two TDs in the loss, but still wasn't enough. What were your thoughts, and what do we make of our Chargers, man? Like, they looked so good about 4 weeks ago, and they've just
Yeah, that's I was about to ask you the same thing. Is it finally time to jump off? Because that is not I mean, it 28-13 too. Like it should have even probably been worse. They got lucky to even get the last touch. I don't know. I mean, I'm very disappointed in the Chargers. Thankfully, I'm not a diehard Charger. Like I'm a Green Bay fan, but the Chargers were I bet on them this year. So
yeah.
like,
So they're your team for the year, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's
well,
how it
my
goes.
second
When you
team.
get futures. Yeah.
It'll
When
always
you
be
get
the Packers.
futures.
But yeah, they're my
Yeah.
second team, and it hurts my heart. But I don't get it. Like I love Herbert. I think he's a stud. He played okay. Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, like they got all the pieces. Yeah, the defense is always going to be a concern. It still is a concern. But at the end of the day, they didn't lose that game just because their defense. You put up 13 points. You need more from the offense. So I think you got to knock them down. I really do, and I hate to say it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. And now next week they're going to come out and win by 30. That's just how it goes on this show.
Yeah, I'm not ready to jump off yet, just because it's a division game in Denver, one of the best home court. You know how much NBA I do. Home field advantages still in the NFL, and so I'm not really ready to. So here's where I am. Okay, like I think that like our little future for them to make the Super Bowl,
yeah, that's
probably gone. But I'm still not afraid to back them week to week. Okay, just off this bad performance.
So what about like my because I am thinking more so like Super Bowl, trying to like because that's what my future is. But like then having to go on the road in the playoffs, like I don't know if they have the defense. I mean, look, Austin Eckler yesterday, like he's great, but 12 for 31, averaging 2.6 yards a carry. Like if you can't even run the football, can't really play defense, stop the run. Herbert can't go the whole way on the road in cold weather too. So I'm concerned, but yeah, week to week.
The one thing that I would say is there's no really like truly elite team in the AFC.
There's not.
Every team that we talk about has their flaws. And so what we're really talking about is a team getting hot just for those 3 games, right? Like the Giants did in 2007 or whatever, you know, when they won the Super Bowl and they were 9-7 going into the playoffs. Now, granted, that doesn't happen that many years, but just from my experience, I would say, especially on the AFC side, it seems like this is a year where that can happen because I think all the top teams, you know, we can identify flaws. Like even if they play the Patriots, right? We would like the Patriots right now, right? Yeah. But I still got the quarterback advantage if I'm Brandon Staley, right? Yeah, no, I mean, sure. You know, I got better weapons on the outside. Like it's not crazy for me to beat any of these teams. You know, the Bills are so up and down too. I mean, it's not that crazy that they win. Obviously, the Chargers are dogs to all these teams, but because the whole AFC has been so inconsistent, that's the only reason I'm not really ready to rule them out. But you're right; they've really kind of destroyed our confidence in them these last couple weeks. But hey, let's talk about your real favorite team and not just the one you put a future on. What a performance by the Green Bay Packers! And this is one of the ones that I'm talking about when I said it's not really as close as the final score, right? I mean, final score is 36-28. It was not that close. The Packers completely controlled this game. You look at the stats, you'd say, oh, you know, Rodgers, 307 for 2 TDs. Stafford, 302 for 3 TDs. Nope, it wasn't close at all. The Packers completely controlled this game. Before we keep praise on your favorite team, what do we make of the Rams?
Man, yeah, the Rams. So it was already a tall task coming into Lambeau. Them as a 2-point favorite was really surprising to me. I thought that number was very interesting. Stafford, especially with the news, Stafford's banged up.
I think it was off the Rodgers news, though, wasn't it?
That it could have been. I mean,
that's what I thought was moving the line. I didn't really see. I don't know. It was a popular side too. You know, I love like all those podcasts where people give out picks. Yeah, like a lot of people were on the Rams.
Really? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I don't listen to as much, but like, so Stafford is definitely not 100%. He's very banged up. Odell, he's banged up. He kept grabbing his back. Cooper Kupp, still Cooper Kupp. Darrell Henderson, like, I don't know. Von Miller, he hasn't really made an impact at all.
0 sacks in his first 3 games. Odell, does he just have this cloud of losing around him?
I mean, yeah, like Odell did fine, 5 for 81, a touchdown, but the touchdown was very long. I mean,
Yeah.
he still seemed a little out of sync with Stafford. Stafford missed some throws. Odell's grabbing his back. I don't know. I like if you have a lot of money, which I know Hoop does, on them making the Super Bowl, even maybe being Super Bowl champs. I'm definitely a little worried right there. Robert Woods was definitely very big for this team. Was a huge loss. I'm a little concerned with the Rams. I mean, 7-4. They're in a tough division too. San Fran, we'll get to them. They've been playing good football as of late. So I'm concerned with the Rams. I really am. But I'm not ready to write them off or too big of a bump down. I mean, they lost to Green Bay in Lambeau, a good football team. But like you said, the score didn't really tell the whole picture. They got beat pretty bad, I think.
Yeah, and you said it right on the table for me. You said, let's talk about San Fran. Another game, I would argue, titled, this wasn't as close as the final score.
Are we not talking about my Packers a little bit?
I'm sorry. Let's praise them. Let's praise the Pack. I mean, they have to be right up there with Tampa, right? 1-2 right now as the Super Bowl favorites for the NFC, right? And that's what I mean on the AFC. There's none of these teams that really you see at the top of that mountain. You go, ooh, that's going to be tough to go in there and beat them. Either one, you know. But I'd say Lambeau, of course, better home field advantage. But both teams, you don't want to have to go to their house and play them. I mean, are you ready to put them ahead of Tampa Bay? Are they the best team in the NFC?
I'm ready to, but I'm not necessarily the right one to do that. I mean, yeah, coming into Lambeau and winning playoff games is going to be very, very difficult. And the thing about the Packers, like their defense finally seems legit. I've been on that for a little bit. This Rasul Douglas dude seems very, very good. Finally, they don't have to play Kevin King. But they're still without arguably two of their best defensive players in Jair, who they said they're expecting to come back or they're still hopeful. And then Zadarius Smith as well. They have the bye week. Rodgers obviously is toe. By the time the painkillers were wearing off and stuff, you could tell toward that in the game. He was limping pretty bad. His toe definitely hurt. So bye week comes at a good time. We'll see what all goes on with that. But you have the best receiver in the league. You have the two-headed monster at running back, like A.J. Dillon late in the game when defenses are tired. He will just run you over, wear you down, bleed the clock. You have Aaron Jones, and this defense.
Remember we didn't like that pick?
I still
like it now.
Yes, and I still will say, like, I'm still a little. I mean, yeah, they went Jordan Love, and it was like what, and then Dylan, and that because they still Jamal and all that.
Yeah,
I agree, but yeah, right now it's looking good. Yeah. In the winter in Lambeau, yeah, cold weather. This dude.
That's the guy you want, right? And he's such a perfect compliment to Jones.
Yeah. So I mean, this coming through Lambeau, I mean, it's going to be a tall task. So I'm saying that they're number one. I think they're the favorites, but you're also talking a little Green Bay homer, so don't take it too far.
And as we go to the next game chat, go ahead and feel free to drop who you think is the best team in the NFC in the chat, and Title and I would love to see that. All right, so I messed up the segue, but the idea was another game that's not as close here. It's the 49ers and the Vikings, but same way, right? I never felt like the Vikings were going to win the whole time, right? And then, of course, you know, the LOL, like JJ already tweeted about it, like Kirk Cousins is lining up under the wrong guy. I mean, it's just
unreal.
Yeah, I mean, hey, but everyone got the chance to see Zimmer's girlfriend on Instagram this weekend, so we were all pretty impressed by that. But we were not impressed with the play on the field. What were your takeaways from that game?
Yeah, it sucks for the Vikings. I mean, Kirk Cousins, that's you have all Dalvin Cook, first of all. I didn't see any update. Did you see any update this morning on the injury? But
yes, so the idea is that he's had this before, and I can't remember if it was a season or 2 seasons ago, and they sat him, and then he was able to play in the playoffs, and that they're going to do that again. So he's probably not going to be in there for the next 2 weeks, but it's not season ending. They're going to try and rest, have him available for the playoffs or the end of the year push, and then surgery in the offseason. But right now it's looking like a couple weeks off at least, and then not season ending.
That's as good a news as it. I mean, it did not look. I mean, it's not that it didn't necessarily look too bad, but how he acted about it, and like it took a long time to get off the field. I thought it was definitely season ending. So that's definitely big for the Vikings. I mean, we keep saying 5-6 the record right now. It easily could be a positive record. They have Justin Jefferson, Thielen, Dalvin. Kirk, though, man, he played a very, very poor football game. Defense, though, couldn't stop the run. We keep saying Chargers and stuff, couldn't stop the run. Elijah Mitchell just absolutely gashed him. 27, 133. Deebo Samuel, is he one of the best running backs in the league now? Like, it's not even like he's catching passes anymore. He can't be stopped on the ground. Ayuk finally is getting involved, which we've always wanted, which made no sense earlier in the year. And I got to start giving a little props to Jimmy G. I mean, he was only 17 for 26, 230, a touchdown, and interception. But you keep talking game manager and stuff. You can run the football very well, set up play action, and get ballsier weapons. I mean, this 49ers team, like the Seahawks, we'll get to them tonight. I'm way over the Seahawks. I think they're dust. The Rams aren't looking as hot, and they're banged up. This 49ers team's coming along, and they can run the football and play a little bit of defense. Jimmy doesn't make mistakes and get it to their weapons. This team's something to watch out for.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm sold yet on this 49ers team, but they did everything right. And you made a great point about how much Mitchell really means to that offense. Once they were able to run the ball, it just felt like they were in complete control of the game. And there's nothing more demoralizing as a team when your opponent just lines up and runs the ball.
Yeah,
you can run different pass coverages. Oh, let's blitz. Okay, no, we're going to play zone this time. No, we need to double this guy. What do you do when they're just running the ball? Right? There's what schemes you switch to? Move 9 to the box. So, and Tyler's really excited about that. He said, here come those Niners.
What about Debo? Was there an update this morning on Debo's injury? Because, I mean, he was still on the sidelines. He was walking around and stuff. But when he got hurt, the play after Dalvin, really shortly after, I think it was the exact play after. He didn't come back in. He was slow to get up and stuff. Did you hear anything about it?
I did not check on that one, and that's the one I should have heard. But JSU would have been proud rather than listening to the Niners radio station. When I was out doing my grocery shopping this morning, I was listening to podcasts. So,
what speed? 1.25, 1.5?
I tried it. I can't do it. You know why? Because I'm still kind of new to this whole presenting deal. I also just like absorbing how the best presenters and podcasts use their voice and their voice inflection. So I'm trying to kind of like absorb that. So I did give it a try, but I went back pretty quickly.
You gave it a try. That's all I asked.
But fortunately, Title, I have plenty of time during the day to do this. I'm a single guy. I don't have kids, so I got plenty of time to bump out these podcasts at normal speed. And for those who don't know, there's a great debate on the Hardwood Live show, which is on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. So if you're subscribed here, make sure you're subscribed there as well. And they were having a lot of fun. Hoop, Title, and Travis on what speed they listen to these podcasts on. And I didn't know you could do it on YouTube. So I talk pretty fast. If you guys can get me at 1.5 and it's still good, I'd love to hear it. So go ahead and drop that in the chat box as well. Guys, we're almost through with the review, and then we will get into tonight. So I thought Tyler was going to be on, right? And I was originally like, my way I was going to lead into this game was like, hey, Tyler, like, I know it looked bad for the Steelers, this week, but I wouldn't worry because the future is bright. And the reason I say that, both the teams we saw in that Sunday night game are going to have to pay a lot of money to these quarterbacks, and I don't think they're going to want to. Okay, so you already know that I'm clear on Baker. He's fine as a quarterback, but you don't want him eating up 30 or 40 million of your salary cap. Tell you what, Title, last night I was kind of thinking that same way about Lamar as well. Like, can you really build a winning team if he's making 40 mil a year? And he's much more likely to get that, he's going to get it no matter what, so they're going to have to pay him if they keep him. Pretty ugly game last night, pretty bad quarterback play. What do you think about the future of both these teams extending these guys?
Well, I'm definitely not a big Baker guy, so I think the Browns, especially with what he's going to have to get, I definitely don't think Baker is the answer there. As far as Lamar, I'm not going to jump off Lamar yet. It's a lot of money for sure, but he brings a whole new dynamic. As we've seen, he's worked on his passing. There's games earlier in the year that we look back, it's like, man, is Lamar now he can pass with the best of them. He still has his legs, this and that. They're 8-3. They found a way to win. Lamar looked awful, completely awful. It was a primetime game, so it's going to get blown up even more. All the eyes were on it, but I'm still on Team Lamar. I think the Ravens, Harbaugh, I think you bring him back. I think you have to, and keep scheming.
Okay, well, yeah, and you might just have to, right? Because
who else? Look at what Cousins is getting, and then the Baker. All quarterbacks are overpaid. At least Lamar, he could break an 80 yard.
Some aren't though, right? Like Russ, I'm fine paying $40 million to Russ. Whatever Brady's making, he's underpaid, right? I mean, for Stafford, I'm fine with what he's not a huge contract, right? Carr's only making 20 million. I'd say that's fine. But boy, so you go from 20 to 40 million, right? I mean, that's what, three like solid starters that you're losing.
For sure. But just say like then you can't figure someone out, and then you get a Tyrod Taylor. I probably wouldn't be that bad. But like you're 8-3 at the end of the day right now. Like and I mean Huntley got him a win too, but even Huntley against the Bears, like I don't know who would be the answer, but I think Lamar's that he got drafted there. He's had winning seasons, he got him to the playoffs. I think you got to keep going with him.
All right, and Title, I told you I'm listening to all those podcasts, right? To go ahead and learn, about presentation. And this is what they call the tease, right? Where you set it up. So Tyler wrote, God, I wish I came back last night just for this segment. Well, guess what, guys? We will revisit this segment tomorrow on the NFL Rundown. That will be at 5 p.m. Eastern, and that's when Tyler and I will go over the sides and totals. But just for you, Tyler, we will revisit that segment. You like that pro thing I'm picking up? That's the tease for tomorrow to get them to tune in. So, all right. So we've taken care of yesterday. Thank you for giving me your thoughts, Title. Always love talking this with you. And, people love to hear us talk too. But let's be honest, Title, right? They didn't really come to hear us talk. They came for the winners. So let's jump right into it. Right now, the football team, let's see. Well, when I left this morning, it was a pick. Let me make sure the line is still a pick.
I have to read +1 right now on DraftKings.
For
Washington. Seahawks favored by 1.
So, okay, I have a pick on Bookmaker. It's +1 on DraftKings. Total 47.5. These are two teams that's really tough to get involved with, Title. I know you said you were down on the Seahawks earlier. It's basically like a team with no quarterback versus a quarterback with no team. Who do you like?
I'm like I said, I'm down on the Seahawks the past 2 weeks. I just can't get it out of my head. Now they're going back on the road. I actually, I've liked what I've seen from Heineke a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had to exaggerate to make that analogy work, but we're trying to go punchy here.
I like it. I'm all over Washington, the football team right now, and if I can get a little +1, which +1, what's it gonna do? You take the +1.
It'll make your money line better.
Yeah,
the +1 makes your money line better because now you should be able to get. You don't have to lay juice at all.
-120, yeah, +100. So money line is the way. I'm all over Washington. I think. I mean, I hate what I'm seeing from this offense. DK, Lockett, Russ. Russ is definitely still hurt. Now they're going on the road. I don't know what's the conditions today. Look up the weather. Do you know off the top of your head?
No, I didn't do any weather. I didn't look at any weather this morning.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that. But I mean, it's got to be pretty chilly. I think they just.
Is that going to affect the Seattle team though?
I mean, I don't know. Russ is already hurt. He's already looking awful. I don't think it can help him. And I think Heineke. I don't know. You don't think that does anything? I'm scarred from what I've seen from Russ.
No, I mean I agree. I kind of agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying I don't know what weather I think would actually throw an advantage to Washington. Seattle plays in the rain a lot. They practice in the rain a lot. It's pretty chilly up in Seattle this time of year. So
Russ played in Madison too, which is the cold weather as well. I don't know.
And honestly, even windy conditions, I think that would actually help Russ, who's a little more experienced in dealing with them. Regardless, though, like I said in my original way of breaking this down, right? A quarterback with no team versus a team with no quarterback, right? And I'm exaggerating because Heineke's better than normal, but of course, the Seahawks do have great receivers, and they have some talent on defense. It's just not coming all together. And what a sad sight it is for me, as an old guy, to see Pete Carroll. It looks like it might be the end for this team. Tonight will be a big way to go ahead. I asked Tyler, if you're still watching, throw a prop in this game. If you have one. I don't know how much you got to see. I mean, I know you're just coming back to civilization now, and Ken Peacock did a quick look. He said it's decent winter, not even a lot of wind. 6 miles per hour is pretty much absolutely nothing. Cool. McCaffrey's done for the year. I mean, yeah, that's too bad.
That's confirmed?
I don't know. I just put Tyler.
Wow.
So
I mean, that ruins a lot of best ball. That's a very big,
Oh, yeah. He says he's dropping news. All right.
Dropping news on the ride home. There you go. Peacock. So decent weather. I mean, that matters for two, and we'll get into the DraftKings and stuff about kickers and all that stuff that matters. But yeah, I'm over Washington. I think +100. Just think they're the better football team. I hate what I'm seeing from Russ. I think he's still
the
hurt.
football team's the better team. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I didn't expect to say that a couple weeks ago too. I
No.
mean, DK, Lockett, Russ. It just shows you do need a little. Richie Smalls. You like the Wilson underpassing props? Let's see what that's. I just like the unders a lot for this whole game for the Seahawks side. I think they win by like 2 touchdowns. To be honest, spread. I liked what I see.
So you like an alternate spread, huh? Like Leia, like -7, throwing at each like +260.
Yes, I think alternate spreads the way to. I mean, hey, before you guys all go out there, you fire your house and your mortgage. I am not a professional.
No, one unit. One unit. When we do these, we do them 1 unit.
Yes.
No, they correlate though.
They do, but there's numbers and stuff. Yeah. But I just
I do think that there's times, right? But you got to pick them games. So I think it's easier for you to be a DF expert. I'm not coming in here. I'm not asking you to analyze like a tough money line. Like, should this line be 5 when it's really 3.5? I mean, it's just a pick. You pick the winner.
I rarely bet like I don't bet too often, like certain things and stuff. But today I'm definitely firing a decent amount on Washington. It's just a spot I think makes sense. So hopefully it's the right side, and then watch Seahawks go out there and win by 30. Yeah, that's just how it goes.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's how it goes in this space. We're not always right, but hey, we put ourselves out here. We put ourselves out here before the game every single time. Right, we let you know what we're thinking. Right, I don't jump in your chat box the next day and say, hey, title, I had the winning lineup, but I didn't say anything on the day that it happened. I just post afterwards. So Tyler likes Washington because our guy Brogan Seacrest, I like that name. He went ahead and add that in, and he had, what did he say? Logan Thomas is back. Do we take over 32 yards for him, or Antonio Gibson touchdown at +130? What are your thoughts there, Title?
I like the Antonio Gibson touchdown at +130. That Logan Thomas number feels good too. I'm wondering like how many they always have a tight end on the field. So that's something that I really like about Washington. I haven't heard any coach talk or snap count or something like that. So I would look into that a little bit first before hitting that over. But if he seems that he's going to be out there 55% even or something like that, like I think 32.5 is a very easy over. I want to make sure that it's not going to be like 25% or 30% or something like that. But they always have tight ends on the field. I like that. But I like the Gibson anytime touchdown.
All right. Well, you said a couple of times you're not a pro bettor. Let's get into what you are, the professional at, and that's building these daily fantasy showdown lineups, guys. Just so you know, I'm up on DraftKings right now, which we're using that captain showdown lineup format. What are your thoughts here, Title? So we're doing a 4-2 or a 5-1. I know you like the dog, but you were pretty adamant that Washington just smokes them here today. How are we going to go about constructing this lineup today?
So I'm going to go Heineke. I'm going to throw him at the captain spot.
Okay.
First part of the core. I'm going to go Gibson. I'm going to throw him right away in the second spot. So we already did use some money for sure, but we got 2 of the people I like a lot.
You're still at 6,600 left after that, though.
Yeah. So we
still not bad. Yeah.
No, yeah, still got a good amount to work with. Scary Terry at 10-6. Like if you have the money, I think he's going to come in pretty low or own. I just can't fit him in my core. Probably not going to be in my single entry. Looking at something like, so my favorite right now, Seahawk is literally the kicker, I think, and just going Jason Myers at 4K. He's going to be my third piece of my core. I'll start talking about some other guys too, but my core is going to be Heineke, Antonio Gibson, and then Jason Myers. And that's because I'm not going to play Russ at 11K in my single entry. So I'm going to fade a lot of chalk there. You hope they stall out in the red zone. They don't drive the ball as much, and they get points mainly from the field goals. So my core, Heineke, Gibson, Jason Myers. Talking about some of the other stuff. So we'll start in the spend ups. There is Russ. There is DK. I like DK's price a lot at 8,800. I think he makes a lot of sense. If you go 4-2, you can go DK, you can go Myers, and then go for Washington. I think he's going to be higher owned than Lockett, though, who's 10.2K. So I don't mind you overspend the 1,400 to take the ownership discount from Tyler Lockett. I would wait and try and see if you have the money or if you can make that fit. The ownership's definitely going to be less, though. Lockett's had better games as of late than DK has. I'm always usually team DK. He's just a freak, and he has a big playability, but he's way cheaper, so he's going to be way higher owned. I like those 2 more than I like Russ, though, taken into the ownership account as well. Alex Collins at 6,600. I think that's a good price tag. If you want to just fade the whole passing game, you hope it stays on the ground a little bit. Alex Collins. The thing is, because I think Washington's going to be ahead a lot, I don't expect Alex Collins to get 20 plus carries. So I don't even love that price at 6,600. Going down like DJ Dallas, 5,200. I don't like that. Logan Thomas, 4,800. We're talking about Logan Thomas. I think that's a good price tag. We'll see. I don't know what the coach talk. I still got to look at snap counts and all that. But I think Logan Thomas, 4,800 makes a lot of sense. You pair him with Heineke, since I'm probably not going to be able to pair Terry McLaurin. Other than that, like Will Dissly at 600, if you do want to then jam a Russ or if you do want to jam Lockett, I think Will Dissly at the 600. We saw yesterday Harrison Bryant. He was only 1,000 and he got 8 points, and I think he ended up on the optimal. So you don't really need much at 600 if you're going stars and scrubs. Outside of that, though, nothing's really standing out as Adam Humphries at 2,800. Like, I guess if you need the savings down there, I think going double kicker makes some sense, though. I love Gibson. I love Heineke, though. Those are the two I'm definitely going to be most overweight on. Myers is probably going to be one of my most overexposed Seattle guy, and I'll probably try and get Lockett or DK in that lineup as well and go 4-2 Myers, one of those two, and then fill it out with some Washington is how I'm thinking about it right now.
All right, guys. So the core you're building off Heineke, Gibson, Myers, and then who's the fourth you want to make official?
DK? Hold on. First, I see a comment. So thoughts on McKissick? Is he a boomer bust kind of guy? I think McKissick is interesting. The thing is, like, because I think they're going to be playing from ahead, I think it's going to be more of a Gibson. You can still play those two together. I think, he's still going to get like the 2-minute work, the passing downs, PPR guy. He is, what is his price? 7,200. That's the only thing that's a little steep for me. I think it's a low own fine play. I'm not going to be on as much. And then who said it in chat? Richie Smalls. DJ Dallas has been playing more than Collins, it seems. Yeah, I'm going to have to look at those snap counts. I don't mind DJ Dallas, too. I know he got in the box, I think, last week. He's 5,200 in the flex. So I think he's also a good play. If you want to go 4-2 and get the other Seahawk there, I think Dallas would make a little sense. As my fourth core play, though, I'm going to say DK Metcalf at 8,800. I'm not playing Russ, so it'll already make me a little more unique. I like that price tag. The 1,400 is probably going to go a long way. So Heineke captain, Gibson, Jason Myers, and then DK Metcalf is what I'll say.
All right. Yeah, quick on Richie Small's comment there. I did a real quick search. He's playing 37% of the snaps according to DraftKings. Now, I didn't give you an exact snap count there, but I think it gives you an idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Does it say anything about Collins? I take it that's 60,
yeah, I just pulled up DJ's real quick. I could pull up Collins. Yeah, I would think that he would be getting most of the rest. Let's see. Does he have that specific information?
If not, so yeah, it seems like Collins is still getting a little more, but the prices are different too. So I don't mind DJ Dallas as well. If you think this game stays close, I think they're going to try and establish the run a little bit early, but I think Washington wins this game. They're going to be up a little bit. So that's why I'm going to get probably one of DK and Lockett in a lot of my lineups. And again, I don't mind a Dissly, even a Gerald Everett. So, Russell Wilson absolutely loves Everett. He's 6,200, which is definitely an overspend. He's going to be really low owned. But, we've seen Russ. I think Everett against Green Bay was the highest. He had the most points of any pass catcher in that whole game. I know there was a narrative before the year. I think there's a Bible narrative with those two. Those two go to Bible school or do Bible together, and they hang out a lot. And Everett's a pretty good – he runs hard after the catch. Russ likes to dump it down to him if he's under pressure. So don't mind an overspend with Everett as well.
All right, guys, and that is a preliminary core brought to you with Titletown of RunPureSports.com. Remember to get the exact cores from all the coordinators tonight. Become a member of RunPureSports.com. Use the promo code GETBETS. You'll get access to my plays, Tyler plays, the Sports Kegs, JJ Score with D, and we've been doing really well lately. Of course, you guys, if you watch the show, you know how sharp Tyler is. Tyler put up plays before the weekend, and we had a really nice weekend in the NFL, thanks to Tyler, JJ, and the Keg. And hey, I had a pretty nice weekend there too. Tyler, my only regret was this weekend that I didn't put more plays on the sheet.
Oh, I thought you were
It
going to
was,
say back in.
I just couldn't lose this weekend. It was just great. So,
There you go. How's NBA been going for you?
yeah, it's been going good. I had really so last week was a little messed up. But I think I told you like I'm a little out of my routine, getting everything remodeled. I can't just
Yeah.
like having people at the house and everything. But I'm feeling pretty good on a nice little win streak right now. Won the last 4 that I put up, and like I said, I made 7 bets. I should have put them all on the sheet.
There you
But
go.
hey, Tyler, I know it's the NFL show, but you gotta be with me. It's pretty hard to write down Pistons, even if they are plus 11, right? I mean, it's a tough team to bet on. I made the bet, but I didn't give it out. I probably should have. But Title, this is so much fun, and we will be doing some NBA content with Titletown when his NFL duties are complete. But that doesn't mean that they can't hear you talk about the NBA, right? You are going to be hosting this afternoon on Hardwood Live, starting at 4:45 Eastern. Do you want to let everyone know? Who's going to be on the show with you and what you guys are excited about for that?
4:45 Eastern. Hoop Mango and myself, we might be talking a little podcast 1.5, 1.25.
Yeah.
Always have some fun conversations on there. But yeah, 4:45 Eastern. I think it's 9-game slate today. So Mondays are always pretty big prize pools. Excited to break it down. And I always see you in chat as well. So tune in, Hardwood, 4:45 Eastern, free on YouTube.
Right, and that's right. And then if you want to watch the final countdown, become a member of Run Pure Sports. Of course, use that promo code GetBets to get access to all the plays and the live shows where the Keg is just cashing winners pretty much every Sunday, man. It's like just so beautiful to see what he's doing out there with the live show. And of course, they're having a great time while they're doing it, right? They're in between giving out those winners, right? That they're having some fun talking about everything that's going on in the world. So what better time to become a member of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets? Title, I wanted to thank you for everything that you do, showing up on the show, giving out the winners, giving out these cores. I think I've at least min cashed more than half the times you've been on the show using the cores, and I literally just set them, and then I don't even look at. I don't adjust as the day goes on. Like I know that we do a football show as well today. I just go with your core and run it, and it's been working for me. So I appreciate everything you do, and of course, you guys can take advantage of this information too by heading over to runpuresports.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I will be back at 12:30. Seems like Tyler's on the road. So it'll be me and Bobby Gomes, and we'll be breaking down the NBA and, of course, giving out a little mini core as well while I give you the winners on the sides and totals. So thank you, everybody, for joining us, and Run Pure.